Specimen paper B, Cambridge O level. This is true for IGCSE 0478 as well. They both are same. So this is paper 2, algorithm programming logic, specimen paper B. So let's start solving it. Question number 1, a range check is used to check that the value input is above 10 and below 20. Tick one box to show which would be accepted. Tick one box to show which would be accepted. So above 10 and below 20 means that 10 and 20 are not inclusive. So it is basically from 11 to 19. So 15 is only accepted because it is between 11 and 19. Okay. All right. So question number 2, 4 programming concepts and 4 descriptions are shown. Draw one line to connect each programming concept to the most appropriate description. All right. Now we have, hold on for a moment. A subroutine that may not return a value is a procedure. A subroutine which may not return a value is called a procedure. A standard subroutine that is available for immediate use. Standard subroutines that is available for immediate use, as I just described, it is library routine. A subroutine that can be used in an assignment statement is basically a function. The output of the function we can immediately assign to a variable. An overview of a program or subroutine, that is called a structure diagram. If we diagrammatically show it, it is a structure diagram, an overview of a program and subroutine. Question number 3. A program checks if the weight of a baby is at least 2 kg. Give with reasons 2 different values of test data that could be used for the baby's weight. Each reason must be different. All right. So each reason must be different. ठीक हो गया? So अब हमारे पास क्या था? बाउंड्री था. सही है ना? हमारे पास बाउंड्री था, हमारे पास एबनॉर्मल था, हमारे पास जो था वो बाउंड्री था, एबनॉर्मल था, नॉर्मल था, एक्सट्रीम था. ठीक है. तो बेसिकली हम लोग जो है इसके लिए कोई भी टेस्ट डेटा क्रिएट कर सकते हैं. अब हम जो है यहाँ पर देखें, अब मैं जरा तफसील से आपको बता देता हूँ ना. टेस्ट डेटा 1.5 kilograms. This value is below the minimum threshold of 2 kg. This test is important as it checks whether the program can correctly identify and handle baby's weight that is considered to be low. All right. By using this test, you can ensure that the program is properly determining when a baby's weight does not meet the required criteria and can respond accordingly, displaying a warning or recommending further evaluation. So this is basically which type it is. It is basically abnormal, which is below required range. Test data 2.5 kilograms. All right. This value is above the minimum threshold of 2 kilograms. This test is important because it verifies that the program can correctly identify and handles baby weight that is considered within the acceptable range. All right. So what was the range? Is at least 2 kg. So this one is acceptable, 2.5. Okay. By using this test, you can confirm that the program is properly determining when the baby's weight meets or exceeds the required criteria and can respond accordingly, appropriately, providing a positive results and all. So which type of test is it? It is basically normal. Okay, within range. Now, this was question 3. Next, question 4. Circle the 2 actions that program needs to take to store the data in file. So, so we can close the file, we can open the file, we can read the file, we can write the file. All right. Circle 2 actions that program needs to take to store the data in the file. We need to open the file and we need to write the file. So we will open the file and we will write to the file. I hope that you got it. Okay. So हम open करेंगे और हम write करेंगे. So file operations are close, open, read, and write, out of which open and write are used to write the data to the file. A program halted unexpectedly with the error message file not found whilst trying to read data from the file. Outline the action that the program needs to take to prevent this occurring. Okay. So हम कौन-कौन से actions जो हैं वो करेंगे. ठीक है. अब हमारे पास जो actions हैं उसमें हमें सबसे पहले prevent करना है, to prevent file not found error from occurring. The program should follow these steps. Check if the file exists before trying to read the data from the file. Handle error gracefully. If the file does not exist, instead of crashing or showing error message, the program should handle the situation in a user-friendly manner. 3, provide a default file or data. In case the file is not found, the program could use default file or set a default data. Prompt the user. If the file is not found, ठीक है ना? If the file is not found, in that case, हम लोग जो है वो, so this is question 4B. So to prevent file not found error from occurring, the program should follow these steps. So I told you about check if the file exists. Secondly, I told you that handle errors gracefully. Then third one is providing a default file or data, and it should prompt the user. So by taking these actions, the program can handle missing files files more effectively and prevent the file not found error from causing an unexpected halt in basically in its operation. So, or simply put, we can say before opening the file, check if the file exists. If the file does not exist, show a proper procedure, a method. So, so this was just for your understanding. If you're going to write it in exam, you will only be writing 3 points. Before opening the file, we will check if the file exists. If the file does not exist, we will prompt the user. That's it. All right. Okay. Now, question 5. How to save before closing file? What does that mean, Bede? How to save before closing the file? We will open the file. We will write to the file. Save, write is save. All right. Draw a flow chart for an algorithm to allow numbers to be input. Ignore any number that are negative. Count how many numbers are positive. Output the count of positive numbers when 0 is input and end of the algorithm. All right. So पहले हम इसका एक सूडो कोड लिख लेते हैं. All right. तो फिर उसके बाद जो है वो हम उसका फिर फ्लो चार्ट भी देख लेंगे. So first of all, हम लोग क्या करेंगे? हम सूडो कोड लिखना शुरू करते हैं. This is question 5A. 5A. All right. So it is basically, first let's define the steps. First, let's define the steps. Here's a pseudocode algorithm steps. This is not a pseudocode, okay? For given task. Initialize a variable positive count to 0. Number 2, start a loop, for example, a while loop. Then we will read an input number and store it in the variable number. Then if the number is greater than 0, then increment positive count by 1. If the number is equal to 0, then we exit the loop and output the value of positive count and the algorithm. All right. So first of all, what we're going to do is initialize positive count to 0. Okay. So we have initialized it to 0. Acha, start a loop, for example, a while loop. So let us do it in a while or repeat. हम repeat का loop लगा देते हैं. All right. So अब हम क्या कर रहे हैं? हम repeat का loop लगा देते हैं. हम यहाँ लिखते हैं repeat. अब हम क्या करेंगे? Read an input number and store it in a variable number. Okay. So input, enter an integer. और हम इसको ले लेंगे number में. Okay. Number में हमने ले लिया. If the number is greater than 0, then increment the positive count by 1. Then positive count is equal to positive count plus 1. If the number is equal to 0, then exit the loop until number is equal to 0. This will exit the loop. Output the value of the positive count. So output positive count is equal to, and then we will output positive count. So that is how we will be doing it. Okay. So this is completed. Now, अब हम इसका फ्लो चार्ट बनाना है, तो मैं आपको फ्लो चार्ट इसकी मार्किंग स्कीम से दिखा देता हूं. तो फ्लो चार्ट हम इसका मार्किंग स्कीम से देख लेते हैं. देखिए, so we started, then we initialize the count to 0. Afterward, this box is used for input. This is called input box, input number. Then we checked, is number is equal to 0? Yes. We got out, we output it. Output count positive numbers and stop. If it is not, then if number is less than 0, we do nothing, we go back. If it is not less than 0, it is not equal to 0, it means that it is greater than 0. So we incremented the count and then we get back to the input as well. Okay. So this is basically the flow chart of it. अच्छा, अब आ जाएं वापस. 5. Question number 5B. Explain the changes you will make to your algorithm to also count the negative numbers. Explain बोला, ठीक है? क्या बोला? Explain. तो अब हम यहाँ पर explanation देते हैं. So explanation is हमें एक और इसमें check लगाना पड़ेगा ना. So 5B. To modify the algorithm to also count negative numbers, you would need to add a new variable to keep track of the count of negative numbers and update the loop to increment this new variable when a negative number is encountered. So let's first discuss what are those steps and how we are going to make the difference. Okay. So to modify the algorithm to also count negative numbers, you would need to add a new variable to keep track of count of negative numbers and update the loop to increment this new variable when a negative number is encountered. Here's an updated version of the code. All right. So let me just copy this so that I can update it as well. All right. So initialize two variables, positive count and negative count to 0. Now, अब हमारे पास ये पॉजिटिव काउंट था तो हम यहाँ पे नेगेटिव काउंट को भी 0 कर देते हैं. ऑलराइट, सो हमने नेगेटिव काउंट को भी 0 कर दिया. इसके बाद हम क्या करेंगे? इफ द नंबर इज ग्रेटर देन 0 देन इंक्रीमेंट द पॉजिटिव काउंट बाय 1. इफ द नंबर इज लेस देन 0 देन इंक्रीमेंट द नेगेटिव काउंट बाय 1. सो जिस तरीके से हमने यहाँ पे लिखा था ग्रेटर देन 0, अब हम यहाँ पे लिख देंगे लेस देन 0 के लिए, और पॉजिटिव काउंट की जगह पे हम नेगेटिव काउंट कर देंगे. यहाँ पे हम क्या कर देंगे? नेगेटिव काउंट plus 1. If it is equal to 0, we exit the loop. Now, with the positive count, we will also be outputting negative count. Negative count is equal to whatever the number of negative count. So these are the changes that you would have to carry forward. First, you would have to introduce a variable, and then afterwards, we will be using that input. You will be finding if the input is less than it. If it is less than that, तो फिर हम उसको जो है वो count कर लेंगे. All right. Number 6. This section of program code asks for 80 numbers between 100 and 1000 inclusive to be entered. The pseudocode checks the number are in the correct range and then stores the valid number in an array. It counts how many of the numbers are larger than 500, then outputs the result when finished. So count is equal to 0, for index is equal to 1 to 80, input a number between 100 and 1000 number, and while number is less than 99 and greater than 1001, input this number is incorrect. So this particular part in line 4, 3, 4, 5, someone asked me yesterday as well कि हम किस तरीके से जो है वो validations करते हैं. So this is validation for a number which has to be between 100 and 1000. Yes, beta, I'll be uploading this. So अब हमने यहाँ पे देखो इन्होंने 80 लिखा है. 80 नहीं लिखना है, यहाँ पे इंडेक्स लिखना है ताकि नंबर सब्सिक्वेंट इंडेक्स के ऊपर सेव हो जाए. If number is greater than 500, then count is equal to count plus 1. So it says that if it counts how many of the numbers are larger than 500, then output them at the end. All right, then count is equal to count plus 1. And if until index is equal to 80, so until नहीं आएगा यहाँ पे, for के बाद यहाँ पर next आएगा, and that is how. तो अब हमारे पास में 4 errors हैं, तो we have to find out those 4 errors. So line number 4 में हमारे पास error है, while number is less than equal to 99 and greater than 1001. सही है, तो corrected will be less than 100 or greater than 1000, because 99 हमारे पास 100 और 1000 है ना, इस वजह से हम ये इसको करेंगे. ठीक है, फिर एरर जो है हमारे पास लाइन 7 में, तो लाइन 7 में this should be num index is equal to number. Then error is in line 9. Incorrect जो है हमारे पास यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ, this should be next indexed. And then we have got in line number 10, we don't have to print index, we have to print count. All right, with the count over here. So let me put it for you. Yeah, this is, I told you earlier, Umar, this is not considered as an error. There are so many ways writing it. Even if you remove this and if, this is fine. So basically this line ends in this, in its own line. If this if ends in this, in its own line. So question number 6. So यहाँ पर मैंने इसको, here's the lines of code containing errors and their corrected versions. ये मैंने यहाँ पे इसको elaborate कर दिया. ठीक है. So error 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay. This one is 4. This one is 3, this one is 2, this one is 1. Okay, so this is completed. Now, next, consider the truth table. So we actually discussed it. I told you that we would have to come up with the min terms. सो हम इसको कैसे बनाएंगे कि बेसिकली हमें जहाँ पर ये मिन टर्म्स हैं, जहाँ पर ये हमारे पास आ रहा है पॉजिटिव, ठीक है, तो इसमें मैंने आपको ये बताया था कि बेसिकली होता ये है कि जहाँ पर ये सर्किट 0 है, वी डोंट कंसीडर इट। जहाँ पे ये सर्किट की आउटपुट 1 है, वहाँ पर हम बनाते हैं मिन टर्म्स। तो अब हमारे पास यहाँ पर जो है वो किस तरह है कि ए बी नॉट और सी नॉट, सही है, ए बी नॉट और सी नॉट। ओके, सो यहाँ पर x1 है, और दूसरा इसके बाद आपके पास जो x1 है वो है यहाँ। इसमें आपके पास a b c है। मींस व्हाट वी आर एक्चुअली डूइंग, वी आर लुकिंग इनटू दीस थ्री इनपुट्स and the output, where the output is 1, we are taking a note of these three values. So a is 1 means a, b 0 means b naught, c 0 means c naught, and over here they all are a, b and c. So basically this is called min term. All right, so हमारे पास जो है वो क्वेश्चन नंबर 7, हमारे पास सबसे पहले हमने क्या निकाली है, मिनिमम टर्म्स, वी कॉल देम मिन टर्म्स। तो हमारे पास जो मिन टर्म्स हैं, हमारे पास पहली मिन टर्म है ये 1 a, लेट्स कॉल इट a, और दूसरी हमारे पास जो मिन टर्म है वो है b, दिस वन। ओके, सो अब हमें क्या करना है कि हम इस मिन टर्म से निकालेंगे सम ऑफ प्रोडक्ट्स। सम ऑफ प्रोडक्ट्स, सम ऑफ प्रोडक्ट इज आल्सो कॉल्ड SOP। व्हाट डज दैट मीन? अब इससे हमें एक एक्सप्रेशन ड्राइव करनी है। एक्सप्रेशन इज सिंपली कि x इज इक्वल टू 1 इफ a b नॉट c नॉट हो, या और हमारे पास a b और c हो। Now we know that a b naught c naught, we are not allowed to put three values in single AND gate, तो हमें यहाँ पे a b naught को अलग करना पड़ेगा, फिर इसको दोबारा एक AND gate में डालना पड़ेगा। ये हमारे पास पहले मिन टर्म की प्रॉपर शेप आ जाएगी, and then we will have to basically put this a b, and then this will be, this is the sum of product. This sum of product now will be taken and we will draw a logic circuit out of it. I'm sure that you people will be able to draw that circuit yourself. Okay, so now this dot means AND gate. There is nothing between these two, it is AND gate as well. This plus means OR gate, so you will be able to do that yourself easily. So this is very simple. If you are given a truth table and you are asked to midterms नहीं है, min terms है, minimum, हाँ। So सर दोनों मिन टर्म्स को एंड के साथ क्यों नहीं कनेक्ट? एंड नहीं है बेटा, मतलब देखो ना, दिस वन अगर ये वाली सिचुएशन है और ये वाली सिचुएशन है, तो इन दोनों सूरतों में वन है ना, तो दिस इज बेसिकली और, this is basically OR gate. So we have nothing to do with it. This is a particular previously defined system. We don't have to do anything about it. Okay, so there is no chance of, and there is no question of ifs and buts. This is basically a standard way doing it. All right, so next question. Each logic gate should have a maximum of 2 inputs. You see, ये क्या बोल रहा है? Each logic gate should have maximum of 2 inputs. इसी वजह से हमने जो है वो यहाँ पर ब्रैकेट्स लगाए ताकि हम हर लॉजिक गेट में 2 इनपुट्स डाल सकें। डू नॉट सिंप्लीफाई। सिंप्लीफाई का मतलब है देयर आर वेज इन एडवांस क्लासेस, इफ यू टेक कंप्यूटर्स इन योर यूनिवर्सिटी और ए लेवल, यू वुड कम टू नो दैट देयर आर सो मेनी वेज, आउट ऑफ व्हिच समथिंग कॉल्ड करनाफ मैप एंड बूलियन अलजेब्रा आर टू पॉपुलर वेज ऑफ रिड्यूसिंग द सर्किट सिंप्लीफिकेशन। सो हमें उसकी जरूरत ही नहीं है, ठीक है ना? तो वी आर जस्ट डूइंग इट डायरेक्टली। they are also saying do not simplify the circuit. All right, so now question number 7b. Write a logic expression for the given truth table. Do not simplify the logic expression. So there we go. This is our logic expression. This is our basically the thing. अब हम इसका logic expression बना लेते हैं। हम क्या लिखेंगे? If this is b, huh? x is equal to 1 if a and not b and not c. All right, or a and b and c. All right, and not c की जगह पे सिर्फ not c क्यों नहीं है? सिर्फ not c की जगह पर सिर्फ not c क्यों नहीं? क्या मतलब हो गया? यहाँ पे AND गेट है, यहाँ पे AND गेट है, तो यहाँ पे AND आएगा, and not c. Okay, and not c नहीं आएगा यार। यहाँ पर हमारे पास we have to put AND gate. There are 2 AND gates, एक यहाँ पर है और एक यहाँ पर है। हमें हर एक AND गेट को बताना है। All right, now this flow chart inputs the weight of items in kg to be loaded on a trailer. Any item over 25 kg is rejected. The trailer can take up to 100 kilograms. Okay, it can take up to 100 kilograms. So हमें यहाँ पर जो है वो इसका trace table बनाना है। तो trace table we did it, and I have a good idea that you will be able to do it yourself easily. So let's just skip this. Question number 9. Verification checks can be made on input data. tick one box to show which check is a verification check on the input. All right. So verification checksum is verification, double entry is verification, echo check is verification, parity check is verification. लेकिन इसमें जो डेटा की एंट्री पे वेरिफिकेशन होती है वो सिर्फ डबल एंट्री, बिकॉज checksum is communication related, echo check is communication related, parity is only text related, and again communication related. Only for data entry, manual data entry, double entry check is well suited. All right. So let's move on. So a function length x finds the length of x, y, and z. सही है. A function substring xyz finds a substring of x starting from the y location taking z characters. A substring of x starting at position xyz, x and y, x and at position y and z characters long. The first character in the string is position 1. Show the value of the variable after each pseudocode statement has been executed. All right. तो अब हम इसको करते हैं. अब हमें जो है यहाँ पर इसको देखें. अब मैं इसको सॉल्व करता हूँ. This is question 10. So here we go. P01. P is equal to computer science. So it says that P is equal to some computer science. तो लेंथ हमारे पास इसकी आ जाएगी P is equal to computer science. ठीक है ना? This is very simple. All right. So P will become computer science. Now afterwards, length of P. So the length of P is 16. Length of P is 16. If you count every character, this is 16. Length of a string, computer science. Substring 10,7. So substring 10,7 is basically science. R is equal to what? Science. Length of R. So what is R? R basically is this. R is equal to science. Okay, no? So if R is science, the length of R will be 7. R is science and the length will be 7 then. S is equal to length of R. Then T is equal to substring of science 1,3 SCI. So this will be basically SCI. Okay. So write a pseudocode statement to extract the word computer from P and store it in variable F. So let's write it. B. So this will be to extract the word computer from the variable P and store it in variable F. You can use the substring function. Since computer starts at position 1 and is 8 characters long, the pseudocode statement would be very simple. F is equal to substring of P1, 8. So this is basically the case. All right. So P1, 8. Now, question number 11. A database performance is used to keep a record of performances at a local theater. So this is show number, type, title, date, sold out. State the number of fields. So we have got 5 fields, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. State the number of records. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Give 2 validation checks that could be performed on show number. The show number is basically sort of primary key. If you see, these all are different. So this must be, there can be length check because they all are of the same size. There can be type check because they have first 2 characters and then 3 integers. They may have presence check. You cannot leave the field blank, and they can have format check. All right. So format is first 2 letters and 3 digits. Okay. So we can put as many. So you can put length check, format check, presence check, type check, whatever you like. You can output all. Acha, show the output that would be given by the structured query language statement. Select. So let's just first check it again, once again. सही है ना? So ये हमारा database table है. और अब हमारे पास जो है वो ये query है. Alright, तो अब हमें ये इधर से हमें इसका जो है वो आउटपुट जनरेट करना है। हमें सेलेक्ट करना है डेट टाइटल फ्रॉम परफॉर्मेंस वेयर नॉट, मतलब सोल्ड आउट, नॉट सोल्ड आउट का मतलब सोल्ड आउट इज इक्वल टू नो, एंड टाइप इज इक्वल टू जैज। ओके, सो ये हमें इसमें अब हमें बताना है कि इसका आंसर हमारे पास क्या आएगा। तो अब हमारे पास इसका आंसर हमें चाहिए कि इस वाली क्वेरी में हमें क्या होगा। द SQL स्टेटमेंट provided here selects the date and title from the performance table, ठीक है, from the date and the title from the performance table, so date first and then title. So अब हमारे पास जिसकी आउटपुट आएगी ना, डेट आ जाएगी हमारे पास 3 नवंबर, और हमारे पास जो टाइटल है वो उसका आ जाएगा अकॉस्टिक इवनिंग। ऑलराइट, सो 11 का जो आंसर हमारे पास बन रहा है, 11 का जो हमारे पास आंसर बन रहा है, लेट मी पुट इट थोड़ा सा इन लेंथ। सो the SQL statement provided selects the date and the title from the performance table where the performance is not sold out. Sold out is no. And the performance type is jazz. Based on the table data provided, the output of this query would be date will be 3rd November and title would be acoustic evening. The acoustic evening performance on 3rd November is the only jazz performance that is not sold out. Okay. Now, this is 11A. B. Sorry, this was 11C. This was 11C. Now, 12A. Rewrite the pseudocode algorithm using while do while loop. Okay, so let me just put it in the question so that you don't get confused afterwards. Rewrite the pseudocode algorithm using while. Okay, so this is with for next. तो अब हमें इसको while के साथ लिखना है. B is equal to false for ठीक है ना. अब हम इसको while के साथ कैसे लिखेंगे? To rewrite the given pseudocode algorithm using a while loop, instead of for loop, you can use a separate variable as a loop counter and update it manually inside the loop. So here is the rewritten statement. तो अब हम क्या करेंगे, b is equal to false, input number counter is equal to 1. वो देखें वहां पे तो ये जो काउंटर है ना, ये तो सिस्टम खुद चला रहा था for next का, यहाँ पे हमें काउंटर को इनिशियलाइज करना पड़ेगा खुद. ऑलराइट, while counter is less than or equal to 100, do is always optional, but you can put it if counter is equal to num, then b is equal to true, and if counter is equal to counter plus 1. So that is how we will convert the for next loop into while loop. Okay, now next part, identify the purpose of algorithm in A. Identify the purpose of algorithm in A. अच्छा, अब ये तो very simple है कि this is basically the purpose of the algorithm in A is to search for a specific number. Let me put it in front of you. To search for a specific number num in the array of 12 elements. The variable b is used, it is a flag by the way, all right, is used as a Boolean flag to indicate if the number is found in the array. Okay, this is basically linear search. All right, so this is B part. The purpose of the algorithm in A is to search for a specific number num in an array of 12 elements. The variable b is used as a Boolean flag to indicate the number is found in the array. If the number is found in the array, the algorithm sets the b to true, otherwise b remains false. So this is basically the purpose of the algorithm. Explain the difference between a while do, end while, and a repeat loop. Achha, this is very common question and very easy as well. So this is 3 marks, so we don't have to write a lot, but let me just put it in detail so that you can learn it properly. So a while do, end while loop, and a repeat until loops are both used to execute a block of code repeatedly based on a specific condition. However, they have some differences in their structure and execution. All right, while do while loop, the loop condition is checked at the beginning of the loop before the block is executed. Let me put it for you. Okay, so the loop condition is checked at the beginning of the loop before the block is executed. Okay, if the condition is false initially, the loop body will not execute at all. The loop will continue to execute as long as the condition remains true, and then comes repeat until. The loop condition is checked at the end of the loop after the block of code has been executed. There was a question in past papers that which iteration at least get executed once. So this one, repeat until. Okay, this means that the loop body is always executed at least once, regardless of the initial condition. The loop will continue to execute as long as the condition is false, and it stops once the condition becomes true. So in summary, The main difference between a while and repeat is when the loop condition is checked and the execution flow based on the condition. The while loop checks the condition before executing the loop body and continues as long as the condition is true, while the repeat checks the condition after executing the loop body and continues as long as the condition is false. So this was your question 12. Now, the names of patients are stored in one-dimensional array patient of type string. A separate two-dimensional array readings stores the latest data recorded about each patient. The array already contains the readings taken by a nurse for each patient. And those are temperature measured to 1 decimal point. Remember, round. Pulse rate, a whole number, integer. Now, sir, if I write one difference from each of the loops, so would it be 2 marks? 1 mark is for explanation, and the other is for other 2 are for differences. So this is fine. I don't think they would cut, but it is a better idea to always put for 3 marks at least 2 differences. Odd numbers होते हैं ना तो फिर हम confuse ही रहते हैं. Odd number of marks, I mean. The temperature reading should be in the range 31.6 to 37.2 inclusive. Pulse reading should be in the range 55 to 100 inclusive. The hospital number given to patient is used for the index on both arrays. This is a value between 1 and 1000. So there are multiple validation checks. When the data for a patient is checked, a warning is given if any of the readings are out of range. If both readings are out of range, then severe warning is given. Write pseudocode using pseudocode or program code that meets the following requirement. Takes the hospital number as a parameter, subroutine, checks if the number is valid, if it is in between the range, output an error message and exit the procedure if the number is not valid. If hospital number is valid, output the patient name, output normal readings. If both readings are within the range, output warning and the name of the reading. For example, if it is pulse, if one reading is out of range, all right, output warning. If one reading is out of range and the name of that particular reading, output severe warning and the names of the 2 readings, pulse and temperature. If both readings are out of range, exit the procedure. You must use pseudocode or program code and add comments to explain your work. You do not need to initialize data in the array. So let's write it. All right. You must use, we are going to write it in, what do we say? Pseudocode. All right, with comments. So this is a different one. So there are 2 arrays. One is 2-dimensional array readings and one is basically patient. Patient has got data and reading has got data as well. We have to write the whole thing inside a procedure, check patient readings. Let us name it as check patient readings. All right, and it takes a parameter as hospital number. If the hospital number is valid, it checks it if it is between 1 and 1000. सही है. और हम फिर उसके बाद जो है वो, let me put it for you first. This one is question number 13. This is my own version. This is not from the marking scheme. So all right, so this is the procedure. Check patient's reading. It is accepting one parameter, hospital number. If you like, you can put as integer. This is a comment check if the hospital number is valid. If hospital number is less than 1 or hospital number is greater than 1000, it means it is out of the range. So we will output error, invalid hospital number, and we will exit the procedure. Exit the procedure means no more procedure is executed. It will just be gotten out. Get the patient's name and the reading. So patient name जो हमारे पास यहाँ पे hospital number आया है, हमने patient name patient के table से उस hospital number के हिसाब से pick कर लिया. So whatever the hospital number from the array patient at that index हमने patient name उठा लिया और readings में से हमने hospital number, 1 हमने वो temperature में उठा लिया और hospital number, 2 जो है वो हमने pulse में उठा लिया. So this way we have got patient name, its temperature, his temperature and pulse. And check if the temperature and pulse readings are within the valid range. So अब basically हम इसको आसान करने के लिए इस तरह लिख सकते हैं कि if, to make it simple, if temperature is greater than or equal to 31.6 and temperature is less than or equal to this, then temperature in range is equal to true. Temperature in range is equal to true. Or similarly, यहाँ पर to make it simple, हम यहाँ पे लिख सकते हैं कि if pulse is greater than 55, greater than or equal to 55 and pulse is less than or equal to 100, then is equal to true. All right, so let's say कि हमारे पास pulse in range और pulse in temperature in range जो है वो हमने यहाँ पर एक variable बनाए हुए हैं. अभी हम इसको आखिर में declare कर लेंगे. Output the patient name. Output patient name हम यहाँ पे comma लगा के कर लेते हैं, concat करके नहीं करते. Output patient name, हमने patient name कर दिया. or determine and output the appropriate message based on the reading. If the temperature range is equal to true and pulse in range is equal to true, then output normal readings. Else if temperature in range is equal to true or is equal to true, इन दोनों में से कोई एक भी ट्रू होगा, अगर दोनों ट्रू होंगे तो कहानी यहाँ पर आ जाएगी. सही है, इसको चेक मतलब समझने की कोशिश कीजिएगा. If they both are true, this will be executed. If they both are not true, then we will get into else. Okay, then we get into else. Let's make it simple. If temperature, अब इन दोनों में से कोई एक भी ट्रू होगा तो फिर आउटपुट वार्निंग आएगी. और उसके बाद हम देखेंगे कि अगर जो if not temperature in range means if temperature in range is equal to false, then output temperature हमें देना होगा, else हम क्या आउटपुट करेंगे, पल्स. फिर else में हम आ जाते हैं आउटपुट सीवियर वार्निंग. If neither they both are true and nor any one of them is true, it means that they both are false. It means that output severe warning, pulse and temperature. And if किया फिर हम exit the procedure कर जाएंगे. Procedure हमें यहाँ पे exit the procedure. That's it. So this is it. This is completed. अच्छा, अब हमें यहाँ पर दो variables जो हैं वो create करने हैं, बल्कि दो नहीं, हमें temperature, patient name, temperature, pulse, ये हमें यहाँ पर create करना होगा. Declare variables. तो हम यहाँ पर लिखेंगे कि we have to have this patient name. This is a string. Declare patient as what? String. And then we have got the temperature. Declare temperature and pulse. Temperature and pulse as what? Real. And then we have got temperature in range. Declare temperature in range, and then we have pulse in range. So they are basically as Boolean. All right. So then we have to initialize them. Patient name. Patient name को हम initialize करेंगे, since it is a string, तो हम इसको initialize करेंगे null पे. These are real, so temperature is equal to 0 and pulse is equal to 0 as well. Temperature in range, because these are basically Boolean, so they are being initialized at false. Pulse in range is also initialized at false. All right, so this is now completed. Any declaration, initialization, checking of input, updating of variables, checking of the ranges, and then appropriate output, and that's it. So this is very simple. So why did you write temperature and readings hospital number 1? So because we have to, actually, you would have to basically pay attention to the question. A separate two-dimensional array readings store the latest data recorded about each patient. The array already contains readings taken by a nurse for each patient. All right, so the first one is temperature, the next one is pulse. Okay, that is why I have used it. Okay, so the first one is temperature, the second one is pulse. From the hospital number for the patient, first column is temperature, second column is reading. Okay, so this is it. I'll be sharing this resource with you people, don't you worry, and pay attention. This is very important. I hope this would help you prepare well for your exam.